guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna here. In today's video, I wanted to talk about a few things that you might consider to do before you get your real estate license. Before we get into the video, I wanted to quickly address a few facts about becoming a real estate agent in your state. And the first thing that you wanted to know is, what are the steps of becoming a real estate agent? There are 75 hours of education that you have to take, and then they're gonna complete a background check. And then the next step is to pass the real estate exam. And then you would have to be sponsored by a real estate broker. And then the last step is to submit the licensing application. So the exam costs about $55, I believe, and every 2 years you would have to renew your license, and then also take a continuing education. And in Philadelphia, in PA, it's like 14 hours. So those are the facts. And then before you decide to get real estate license, just know there are multiple fees that you would have to pay yearly and then also quarterly. So things like your MLS, when you check on the inventory of the property, so that's like quite a bit of expenses. Also, you would have to pay some subscriptions if you are paying leads with Zillow or $1 CRM, stuff like that. And then also including your lockbox signs, and if there's any office fees that you would have to pay. So there are a lot of expenses. I mean, the good thing is, you know, when you are a self-employed person, a independent contractor, when you're paying for the tax, these expenses can be a tax write-off. Let's get into the video. The first thing that you wanted to do before you become a real estate agent is to interviewing brokers. You want to find a really good broker that suits you. So everyone has different personalities and you are good at different area. So if you're someone that are pretty good at like hands-on trainings and just want to kind of go after the business, if you are the type of person that wants to jump on things right away, I would definitely suggest you go with like a local brokerage and a broker that provides leads. Whereas there are bigger brokerage or big franchise that will provide you a lot of trainings. If you're the type of person that's more analytical, you wanted to get everything ready, everything set up, and you wanted to focus more on like building a team or going with that route, I would probably suggest you to look at, you know, companies like Keller Williams, and because those companies, they have a structure and they have Maps Coach, which they provide a lot of trainings and they provide you scripts. So, you know, if you're that type of person, then maybe you should consider going with a bigger brokerage. Where I was with Keller Williams, then I decided to quit it just because it doesn't really suit my personality. I prefer more of just giving me leads so I go out and then close deals. The other point I want to make about interviewing broker is also you have to do your research and kind of figure out what this brokerage can provide you for, and then also what you can add on to the broker. So for instance, if you are a bilingual, you speak another certain language, maybe you can use that as a bargaining chip when you go talk to your broker. See like, hey, you know, this is my advantage, this is something that I can offer, what can you offer for me? And then ask questions and figure out, you got to figure out the split. You got to figure out what are some expenses that they might cover for you, what kind of trainings that provide, or do they not provide trainings at all? Do they provide any lead? Like, or do you know, like if they do provide the lead, how much split would they charge on that lead? So those are the things that I would consider when, you know, going over different brokers. And the next step is to, this is very important. The next step is to really identify what kind of agent you want to be in your career. So I never really talked about the steps in my previous video, but now that I think about it, being as a seasoned agent, I think this step is really crucial, especially before you start. So you got to decide whether if you want to become a buyer agent first or you want to become a listing agent first. So most people, I would say 99% of real estate agents, they start out as a buyer agent just because it's a lot easier and that's how the career has been set up. I remember the first ever brokerage that I was signed on with, I was assigned a role as a buyer agent. I didn't know the difference and they just said that your role is buyer agent. So I was like, okay. now I think about it, it's because buyer agent is a lot easier. It's more passive and they don't really require a lot of trainings and skills. That's why when you're new, usually you are automatically a buyer's agent or a rental agent. And then as the year goes by, you become more experienced and more seasoned. Then you start taking on listings, or your previous buyers have lived in the home for 5 to 6 years. They start thinking about selling. Then you get listings as a referral. Then that's why agents from the 5 years to 10 years, they begin as 50% buyers and 50% listing agent. And then from that year on, that's just how the setup has been. The only problem with agents like that in a normal route is they become having a ceiling where they hit how much they can make as commission wise. So they usually probably stop as like 100K and that's it. They will never really go above 100K or 200, 300, a million. That just like, it's harder for them to achieve. So you got to figure out whether you want to be a buyer agent or a listing agent. There are pros and cons. I'm just going to list a few right here. Become buyer agent. Number one, it's a lot easier. You make money right away. And then also it's a lot easier and less objection. And the cons will be, it's a wrong way to set up your business and you are working at a really weird and different like working schedule, because whoever wants to see, then you have to stop what you're doing and then go show them the home. So the next step is, once you find out what you want it to be, whether if it's a buyer agent or a listing agent, then you kind of need to start practicing on your script, and then also learn how to pre-qualify buyers or sellers. Just so you guys know, I'm not like disliking being a buyer agent. I think if that suits you and you need to make money right away, you hate cold calling, I think buyer agent is fine. I know a lot of buyer agents, or agents just generally prefer to work with buyers, also make a lot of money. That's possible too. So, but in this step, you have to figure out the objections when it comes with dealing with buyers or sellers, right? You have to be ready with your listing presentation and your buyer presentation. You have to be able to qualify when this is a true buyer or it's not a true buyer. You have to be able to lead the buyer step by step and teach them how to purchase a home. You have to be very clear on the steps and all the necessary things and documents they have to get ready before they're applying for mortgage or they're writing an offer. And last but not least is the subscriptions. So you want to get all the setup ready. There are a few necessary items that I've been using all throughout my career. Is definitely make sure you have dual screen. I think that comes in super handy, because if I'm on the dollar, a lot of time I was also doing my admin work. So thank God I have like a laptop here and also a desktop in the office. And then be sure you have a printer, and then also a stand-up desk. I believe you can get that on Amazon for like $30. You will also need a dialer, which I use is Mojo. You will need our CRM, because the more years you go in this business, you're gonna have tons of different clients. You're not gonna remember who is who. You would need a CRM, so you build that either if it's an Excel sheet or a Mojo or any other brand of CRM, so that way you can have all your future business lined up. You will know exactly when to make follow-up calls and when you need to send them the follow-up letters, or your past client that you send them like Christmas cards, stuff like that. And last but not least, make sure that you have a great headset. For some reason I didn't have mine today, but I have the Beats. So I can't use AirPods just because like I might lose them somewhere, so I have to have someone handling my neck. And then I also have these Apple headphones laying around somewhere here in my office, just, you know, because my Beats headphone, they die every 5 hours, and I'm on the dollar like usually on the phone for like 7-8 hours a day. So I do need to charge usually after lunch break. When I'm charging the headphone, I will use those headphones to do prospecting. So make sure you have 2 separate sets of headset, just in case if one broke or if one needs to be charged. Yeah, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was like such a long video, but I hope you get like a really good information out of my video. If you guys watch until this far, make sure you comment fortune cookies down below, and you know, leave a comment. Let me know what type of other videos that you want me to talk about. I appreciate you all. Be sure to subscribe and like this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.